Roadworks. Ain't it grand? But I'm not complaining, because I've got a day off work. And, unusually for the last couple of weeks, oh dear, smoky coming from my engine. This is bad news. No, it'll be fine. Días Galera, agus a fáilte ash go dtíon Clark Kaza Whaki. Hello everybody in YouTube land and welcome back to the Kaza Whaki show. Today is today is Friday the 13th of September and I have taken a sneaky day off work. Shh, don't tell anyone, because I have been checking the weather forecast furiously for the last 3 weeks, trying to gauge when would be a good time to get out and try and make a serious burst at getting these photo rally points. Any of you who've been watching the recent videos will know that I have 2 points left in the Republic of Ireland. The windmill in... oh God, I've forgotten. Where is the windmill? Santry? Is it Santry? I can't remember. Somewhere in Dublin. And the other point I have is in Valentia Island in Kerry. I have, however, in the north of Ireland I have 10 points to get. And I kind of made a decision a while ago that when I was going to do the northern points I was going to try and do them all together, because it's a long drive to go up and do 2 or 3 and then come home to have to go back up again to do another 2 or 3. So the plan is, or the plan was for the last long while, to watch for a weekend where the weather was reasonably good. Hello bike buddy. And watch for a day when the weather was reasonably good, try and get up, get as much of it done as I can, and stay in a bed and breakfast or a hostel or a campsite, and then do the rest of the points the following day. And I've been watching and all week it's been raining and dark and miserable and real October weather in September, which to be honest is pretty typical for Ireland. But this weekend the weather is not terrible, so I decided I'd chance it, take a day off work and hit up, try and get the points done. So the plan now is today and tomorrow to try to get 10 points done. So we are heading now for, I'm going to see if I can remember it. We're going to do Carland Crane is the first stop. The second stop, oh, I can't remember. Carland Crane, the Ryland Killen, the Garvey Hall, which is part of the BMW Ulster Rally. And this is cool actually. I've passed this road before, this is class. It's just middle of a little village, medieval structures, plonked in the middle of it. Just very cool. Very cool. Now, what was I saying? Where the hell is this actually? Is this isn't... oh, hold on. Let's figure it out. Let's look for the post office. Or something that had... Delvin. Is it Delvin? We are going straight on. Blue hackle? Okay, no idea what the name of this town is. I think it's Delvin. Delvin or Devlin? There's a sign here and there's a van coming, so I can't turn around to look at it. But very quickly, Delvin. Yep, there we go. Now that's that mystery solved. What was I saying? Oh yes, I'm trying to list the points that I'm aiming for today. So I'll start with the Carlin Crane. Second is the Ryland Kiln. After that is the Garvey Hall. And then after that it's the August Brief for the Iron Butt Photo Rally, which is some memorial stone to a shipping accident in 1800, I think. That's in Donegal, somewhere down near Glencullen Kill, right on the coast. And from there up to the railway bridge, I think, but I'm not sure. I think it's the rail bridge. There's an old rail bridge in Limavady is one point, but there's another rail bridge in... one is a rail bridge and one is a railway bridge, I think. But one of them is in Donegal, near Guidor, that kind of area. So between Glencullen Kill and Guidor, the plan is to try and find somewhere to camp around there. So we're going for 4 points today, I think, or maybe 5, I can't remember. The rest of the points then are all along the North Antrim coast. There's 2 very close to each other in Limavady, 2 quite close to each other in Antrim, and then we're back down under Loch Ney to, I think it's the Master McGrath monument, another Master McGrath monument, and a monument to Hans Sloane is the last one on the way down. And if all goes well, I'll try and get the windmill in Dublin on the way back down. So if all goes well and all goes according to plan, I should come back tomorrow with 1 point in Kerry left to do. It's an incredibly ambitious plan, because there was 2 routes I could have taken, basically going clockwise or anti-clockwise. And I put up a straw poll on the old Instagram account, and I got a couple, actually I got a few replies, and every single one of them said go anti-clockwise. Go up the Antrim coast, on the east coast of the island, and across the north, camp somewhere, and then come back down through Donegal, back down to Tullamore that way. And I've totally ignored everybody. Every single person said go that way, and I'm going the opposite way. But so don't hate me. I didn't totally disregard your opinions. I watched it carefully, I thought about it, I took it into careful consideration, then I chose to ignore you. Because to go the popular route, anti-clockwise, up to Down, Antrim, across into Derry, to follow that route was 8 hours. And that's 8 hours flat out, no stops. Which would have put me with about, after doing the last rally point in Derry, it would have put me at about an hour away, maybe an hour and a half away from a campsite in Donegal, which is where I was kind of aiming to be. Going clockwise, which is the way that I am going, it's only an hour shorter. It's 7, now that's 7 hours, no stops, flat out, straight run, no messing. Now you might say there's only an hour in the difference, big deal. The problem is, when I do these long distance spins, these photo rally points, because you're stopping and videoing stuff and taking pictures and getting lost with Susie Satnav, etc, etc, because you're doing that, you can add on a substantial amount of time onto the predicted time that Google Maps tells you you're going to do. I mean, for example, the last video you would have seen where I went from Tullamore to the Beara Peninsula was clocked at 7 hours to go down and back up. That turned out to be more like 11 hours. So on a 7-hour spin you can tack on 4 hours onto it, 3 to 4 hours extra faffing about, getting lost, stopping for petrol, stopping for something to eat, etc, etc. Now, why that becomes important on this trip is if I do 8 hours or 7 hours, it's only 1 hour in the difference, which is fine if you know exactly where you're going. But if you tack 3 hours onto either of those, it gives me an arrival time. If everything goes absolutely perfectly, it gives me an arrival time of around 4 o'clock. It gives me about an arrival time of around 4 o'clock in Donegal. And at which point I have to find somewhere to camp. Now I may camp in a campsite or I may do some wild camping, depending. We'll have to see. But the point is, I'll have to find somewhere to camp. I'll have to pitch the tents. Here, you're annoying me. What was I saying? I'll have to find somewhere to camp. I'll have to pitch the tent and basically set up camp. Now, that doesn't seem to, that's, I could be about an hour, because I'm not very good at setting up the tent and things like that. So yeah, if I land there at 4 o'clock, an hour, 5 o'clock to set up the tents, find somewhere to camp, pitch the tents, get the bike settled, get the gear off, all that kind of stuff. Now if you put 3 hours onto that arrival time, if I don't get there at 4 o'clock, if I get there at 7 o'clock, now I'm pitching it in the dark. Ah, I forgot to bring a torch! Damn it! Okay. Just thought of that now. Yes, so if I go the way you guys suggested, straight run, no stops, just blast on, no stops for petrol, no stops for photo rally points, just ride the bike there. It's 8 hours, which gives me an arrival time of about 5. Put 3 hours onto that, and that's 8 o'clock. That's definitely dark when you're pitching the tent. Now, the thing is, those arrival times were based on me leaving at 8 o'clock in the morning. I didn't leave until 10:30 or until 10 o'clock, which means my new arrival time is 6 o'clock anyway, going the short route. And that's an arrival time based on no stops. Put 3 hours onto that. My best worst case scenario is arriving Donegal around 9 o'clock. So basically the reason I chose to go clockwise and disagree with all of you guys on the Instagram is that once I get to Donegal and do the August brief, I can camp anywhere between Glencullen and Guidor. I can, if it gets ropey, if it gets dark, if I get delayed, basically if I can find anywhere in the wilderness on the side of the road to wild camp, I can, and I can hope to make it up the following day. because the following day I'll only have to strike the tent. I won't actually need to set it up again, because theoretically I should be back in Tullamore tomorrow night. Does this make sense? I'm not even sure. Anyway, we're 2 hours away from the first rally point, which is the Carland Crane. It's an iron button photo rally point, and just to let you know, I have no homework done on these points. So don't be expected. This is going to be an adventure where we all go to these places together, having never seen them before, and we just kind of find out what's there on a little exploration together. You and me, all one big happy exploring family with no information about these points except what we find out when we get there. Now I'm going to switch off for a little while, because well, you don't need to listen to me for another hour and 47 minutes. Good luck.